Thanks, and good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to provide you this update because we have had a change in the status of our water system. We are continuing to battle fluctuating pressures all across our water distribution system for customers that are served by Memphis Light Gas and Water, especially as we find and fix those water leaks both in homes and businesses and in our water mains in the streets. Unfortunately, as we've been making those repairs across the system, sometimes the system pressure is momentarily dropping below that magic 20 psi statutory limit. And because it is doing that, and because it has happened in areas outside the existing boil water boundaries, unfortunately, I have to, and I am obligated to expand the boil water advisory to the entire MLGW water service area until further notice. I'll say that again. Because pressures have dropped momentarily below 20 psi in a number of areas across our service area, I am obligated to expand the boil water advisory to the entire MLGW water service area. Now, this does not include the water systems for Millington or Bartlett or Germantown or Collierville, just those individuals served by Memphis Light Gas and Water. I'm also aware that there are customers throughout the county who are experiencing no water for one of several reasons. First, either because the pressure has dropped too low and so the water is not getting to their home because there is a break between our pumping station and their house, or because we have made a repair or we are shutting down a water main because it was leaking so that we can fix that water main and therefore no water is flowing, or because that resident may have a line that is frozen up. Irrespective, there are some customers that do not have water flowing. As I mentioned yesterday, prior to the event, we asked people to put some water aside for just such an event like this. And I hope that people who have that water aside are going to use this moment in time to use that water for just such purposes for their drinking water. For customers who still have flowing water, I would like you all to please follow our boil water information. It's on our website at memphislightgasandwater.com. A reminder for those few customers in our system, there's about 20,000 or so who suspect they may have lead service lines. Let the water run for 15 or 20 seconds or run it through an approved filter before you boil it, and then boil the water for 1 minute before you consume it. Now, there is no restriction for bathing or any other hygiene rules that you need to follow. If you're brushing your teeth, use some of the boiled water, but for basic functions around the house, there's no need to take any special precautions there. For customers who do not have water and who need some drinking water, the Shelby County Emergency Management Agency has coordinated 2 distribution points for today. They're going to start at 2 p.m. and they'll go till 4 p.m. or until the water is distributed. The first is at Shelby County Fire Station number 62, and the address for that is 4647 Forest Hill, Irene. That's in Memphis, 38125. The second location is in northwest Shelby County, and that is Shelby County Fire Station number 67. Location is 944 North Haven Drive in Memphis, Tennessee, 38127. There may be other locations, and we will announce those via social and through our partners' websites and our website as they're established. Our team continues to work very hard, and they will work around the clock to find and fix any leaks in our system, to cut off water for customers who are having leaking pipes and they can't figure out how to cut their water off on their own, to look for broken fire protection systems that do bleed down our pressure pretty significantly. And we're going to continue doing that until we have all of the leaks secured. Our laboratory will continue to sample water, and as soon as the pressures reliably return above 20 psi in our system, we will take samples. Those samples will be processed at our laboratory. The results take between 18 and 24 hours because they are essentially cultures. Once we get the results back of any negative issues with the water, we will send that to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation for the all clear. So that will take some time. Asking everybody's patience as we navigate our way through this over the next few days. The temperatures I know are going to get cold again, so it likely may cause some additional breaks. I wish I could say we were completely clear of this, but we are not. We will be working on this for the next few days. So it is our firm desire to get us back to normal operations as quickly and as safely as we possibly can. So with that, I'll open it up and take any questions that individuals may have. Lucas.
So I know you said that you're going to be working on this for about the next couple of days. Is there kind of a firm ETA or deadline that you're looking at for when this boil advisory will be lifted for the rest of the city?
No, as I said, I cannot predict that. We are still finding leaks. There are still new leaks emerging. And until the leaks stop happening, which will happen after the freeze thaw cycle is over, then we should be on the path to getting that done. But I can't give you a firm date. I want to reiterate that the Memphis Light Gas and Water, our water production, that's our wells, our treatment and our pumping stations are all operating at maximum capacity, which is about 20% more capacity than we had 2 years ago. We are putting into the system more than twice as much water as we normally put out on a day like today. So we are pushing as much water as possible into the system to keep as much pressure available and to keep water flowing to as many people as we possibly can. Obviously, that's very inefficient because we know the water is leaking out of the system, but it does keep water flowing to as many customers as possible. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there a way that you're prioritizing some of these water main breaks and freezes for effectiveness, or is it just a sort of a first come, first serve basis?
Well, it's based on where we see the low pressures, and we obviously search for the systems because not all of our pumping stations, we have 10 pumping stations, and about half of them have good pressures. The other half have pressures that are fluctuating. So we are searching in those areas where the pressure is fluctuating. Now, even in those pumping areas where we have good pressures, occasionally because we are seeing leaks, the pressure will temporarily drop below 20. That's why I have to cover the entirety of the area. But certainly our number one priorities are to make sure the hospitals can continue to operate. There's great partnerships with Shelby County EMA and with the Memphis Fire Department and a number of providers to make sure they have water for their boilers, which is essential for a number of functions they have. That is a top priority to make sure that they can continue to function. Ian.
How many water main breaks have you guys dealt with so far, and how many are you currently working on right now? And can you give us the location of a few of those?
I will have to get back to you with the location of a few. As of an hour ago, we had completed 49 repairs, and we had another 10 or 12 that were underway at the moment. I'll have to have my team send you some of the locations. Any other questions? Okay, Lucas.
I was wondering if there was kind of when you guys realized that this would have to expand to the whole city today, kind of what time that was, um, as well as if there was a specific break when that kind of occurred to you that you would need to expand that boil advisory.
No, it's been within the last hour or two. We monitor the system on a real-time basis. We're monitoring all 3,900 miles of water distribution system, all 255,000 customers. We have hundreds of pressure reading points all across the county, and we are trying to balance with all of our pumping stations, turning the pumps up to get more pressure out there, balancing the amount of water that we have in our reservoirs to ensure that we never run them dry. So it's a physics problem. How much do we pull out of the ground? How much can we pull out of the ground physically? How much do we put into the reservoir after it's treated, and how much do we push out into the system? So what I've been telling you is I'm actually pushing more water into the system than I can actually produce. At some point, I have to back that down so that I can refill the reservoirs. So it's been, I called the presser as soon as I knew I needed to do this. So whenever you got the notification, it was likely 15 to 30 minutes before that when we made the determination. Okay, Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, you briefly talked about the hospitals. Just yesterday, we had two major hospitals under the boil water advisory. What does that look like in supporting them and helping them and giving them the resources they need to continue normal operations? You know, I know some of the hospitals are like holding off on elective surgeries and only doing emergency surgeries, but what kind of resources are you providing or working with the emergency management to give them?
Sure. Well, there's an entire organization called the Shelby County Emergency Management Agency, and there's a subsidiary organization that's the Hospital Emergency Management Coalition, and they are responsible for providing all of the logistics support for hospitals to operate. The number one thing that MLGW can do is to get out there and find and fix those leaks and make sure that we push as much water with our pumping stations as we possibly can. So, but what it looks like is for some of the hospitals, there are tanker trucks of water that come. That's non-potable water. That's water that allows their boilers to continue to operate. And then they do things like you said, hold off on on elective surgeries and bottled water for patients. Healy.
Hey, I heard you share the number of total water main breaks so far. Could you also share the total number of tickets from customers? I know you said at least
Yes.
1,000 yesterday.
I said at least what yesterday?
1,000 yesterday?
Yeah, that's 1,000 was the number of total tickets we were working out there for no water, low water, and breaks. So I'm sure it's higher today, but I'll see if I can get that number for you. And I'll validate I know 49 was the most recent number I saw of completed breaks, and 10 to 12 that we are currently working out there. This morning I heard that overnight we had worked about 700 tickets for a residential either low water, no water, or breaks. So that number is going to continue to go up. Any other questions? Well, look for some updates for us. We'll try to keep the website and social pages up as current as we possibly can. And if there's any other major changes that occur, then we'll let you know. Okay, two more questions, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you may have mentioned this, but are there any plans potentially to expand the water distribution events if their need arises?
Yes, that's going to be coordinated through Shelby County EMA and the City of Memphis Office of Emergency Management. They have not chosen any locations or times for that yet. The two that we're having, one in Southeast Shelby County and one in Northwest Shelby County, are being coordinated by those agencies. And as soon as we know if there is a new operation for distributing water, we'll let you know. And I saw Shay, you asked, yes, if the temperatures drip below, I realize we're doing two things. We're asking you to conserve water. We're asking you to boil water, but also I don't need any more leaks out there. So dripping your water is a necessary evil during the low temperatures in order to keep your pipes from freezing. So yes, go ahead and continue doing that. That does have some impact, but not a material enough impact that was going to cause us to have this boil water advisory. Okay, seeing no other questions, I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for joining us on short notice, and we'll keep you posted.